A very good evening, everyone. Is my voice coming to you all? Himanshu this side, and I'm going to take today's class. Is my voice coming to you all properly? We will wait for a few minutes, and then after that, we will start the today's class. Thank you, everyone, for joining the class. Welcome you all. Himanshu this side, and I'm going to take today's class. So we are waiting for a few minutes, and then after that, we will start the today's class. Thank you, everyone. So thank you, everyone, for joining the today's class. Abraham, can you hear me? So I think now everyone is here. So now we can start the today class. Today's topic we have production with routing. So we will check about the production, how we can manage the production with the routing stage. Production and MRP and production with the routing stage. If we are talking about the routing stage that you can utilize in the bill of material. So in a bill of material, you can take all the raw material that you are using to manufacture a finished good. Or you can utilize the stage-wise production, like by example, you can see first stage representing the cutting, and in cutting we have three different components. First one is representing the machine, that is cutting machine. Second, a labor, you can say a machine operator who is operating the cutting machine. And then after that, third one is we have a wooden plates, that is a raw material. After completing the stage one, that includes three components. Now we can go for the stage two, that is sanding. And in sanding, we have a again two components, that is sanding machine and then to operate a machine, that is operator. Then after that we have a stage number three, that is painting. In painting we have a painting machine and painting operator, or you can say that machine operator. And then after that the paint you are utilizing, that is white paint. And then stage number four we have a assembly, means after cutting, after the sanding, and then after the painting, we have a assembly stage. In assembly stage we have a three different components, three or you can say five components, that is carpenter, hinges, cells, handles, and screws. Means after performing stage one, stage two, stage three, now we are at stage four, and at stage four we have a five components. And you can see in the graph chart, system is representing the color concept, resource representing from different color, and items representing from different color. Means stage one, the item is wooden plates, and in stage three we have a white paint, and in stage four we have a hinge, cells, and handles and screws. This is the raw material, means representing the items, and the resource representing carpenter. Then after that machine operator, painting machine, sanding, then machine operator, and cutting machine. So these are the bill of material, preparing information about to produce a final product, that we are producing a white cabinet. So we are manufacturing white cabinet. In white cabinet we are utilizing these stages, and at each stages we have a different type of resource and different type of items. That is the concept of defining the stage wise bill of material. So how we can define the, so we have to go in the production, and then after that bill of material, open the bill of material. We can take any previous record for the adjustment. You can define same resource, same item for the better understanding, or you can utilize according to your own. Now you can see this is the item. Right now I have FG sim, and this is the item I'm utilizing, that is direct bill of material, means here is no representation of the stage. So if I want to define a stage, now you can see there is a column of type where we have to select a different type of information. If you are adding an item, then you can select item. If you are adding resource, then you have to select resource. If you want to add any text material, then you can utilize. Now I'm utilizing the stages concept. So I have to select the stage, and then after that I can create an stage. So after selecting the root stage, you have to press the tab, and you can see there is no stage code and no stage description are coming. Now we can define new one that is representing according to the PDF. We can create one or two, and then after that you can create according to that, like stage one representing cutting, right? So we can go for the cutting. You can utilize code according to the need. Now we have a cutting, and then after that second stage we have a sending, and then after that we have a painting. After defining the stage, these are the stages we can define. Now first I'm taking the painting, and then after that you can choose according to the need, and we can select according to the need, like first one cutting. Now we have a cutting, and at the cutting we can define and create a resource. So after the resource we can select a resource. There is no resource, we can create a resource like R01, and then after that we have a cutting machine. This is the measure text hourly basis, and this is the 1 hour, and we can define a standard cost like 10 rupees if my machine is running. Now we can add that. Now in cutting machine we have a cutting machine, and then after that we have another, that is machine operator. So we can create another resource for the labor to operate the cutting machine, R02, or you can say L01 machine operator. Now we can create operator and define the measure hourly, and then take measurements 1 hour, and the costing in 1 hour we have a 10, or you can say 20 or 15, and you can add that. Now at this stage 2 we have a this machine operator and this, and system representing, you can take an wooden plate item, so we can create an item as well, that is wooden plate. You can select the raw material, and then after that the HSN for that, and now we can add that. So these are the complete structure. If you are utilizing stage wise production, then you have to first create the bill of material stage wise, then after that you can utilize the information at the production order. So I have added cutting machine, cutting stage, and at the cutting stage I have added cutting machine resource, one labor, and one item, that is wooden plate. According to that, we can manage that functionality in SAP B1, and you can add again stage 2, and same resource you can take, and then stage 3, then same resource you can take, and according to the need, and then you can take another item, and then you can go for the stage 4, and then you can add item 1, and this is the item information, and then we have a resource information. So this is the pattern. You can take information as much as needed. So now I'm going to update that part. Now you can see system is generating a message pop-up. What is saying? System is saying routed bill of material must have the first stage on the first row. So I'm creating from the number of third. I have to move this number to the 1. So that is why system representing an error that this must be a first one. I'm deleting all items and now we can update that part. We have updated. This is the my item and this is the complete cycle you can create, and then after that if you want to take another stage then you can go for the root stage, and then after that you can utilize painting and sending as much you want. So according to that you can create that. So this is the complete package and cycle to create a bill of material with the routing. And then after that, what type of other information you can represent at the production order when you are using that bill of material that you have created with the stage wise, right? So what are these options you can utilize? System is representing. Right click on the production order window, then you will see display root stage, display item, display resource, and display text. Means the format, in that format you have created the bill of material. This one, and this is the type are coming, that is system is saying item, resource, text, and stage. That is the thing you can utilize while doing the production order. Root, stage, item, resource, and text. So this is the functionality you can manage. So let's move for the production order. I have copied this item and now we can go for the production order and let's see what is these information are coming. This is the item and all the information are coming. Right click on it, you can see display root stage, display item, display resource, and display text are coming. So you can hide, unhide, these are things if they are not needed at the production order and they are only just needed for the creating a bill of material. So you can hide that part as well. So based on the need you can manage that part. Then routing date calculation on start date, end date, start date forward, and end date backward. So how it will affect the system? System is representing on start date calculation. Resource is allocated to the start date in each stage, does not affect date in this stage. And resource is allocated to the end date in each stage. Means the date you are utilizing. First date, like if I am using, if I'm using the date is 0104, right? 1st of April to 0604. So this is the my start date and this is the my end date. So on that basis, resource information will calculate by the system. Means then after that we have we can say number 2 and number 3, 02, 04, 03, 04, 04, 04. Right? So this is the complete cycle. This is the start date and the resource I have defined in the system. You can see cutting machine. and the capability I have 100 hour per day. This is the resources available for utilizing purpose, right? And this is the start date and this is the end date. We have a two different end. So if I'm using this machine in the production and we are utilizing the start date, and at the production maybe I can use 500 hours to manufacture a single product. So if I'm using a method start date, so system will pick 500 hours from 1st April to 5th April until it will get 500 hours. If I'm utilizing the end date, then system will pick the hour from the 5th of April, 4th of April, 3rd of April, where it will get 500, system will stop there. So this is the concept, utilizing the on start date and on end date to manage the capacity and to utilizing the allocated of the resource. So that is why system is saying resource is called allocated to the start date in each stage, resource is allocated to the end date in each stage, and date forward resource is allocated start from to the first stage, and the date of a stage set to the start date of the next stage, and same like that we have a end date backwards. So on that basis system will flow start date forward and end date backward. It will flow for that purpose. We can check by example. Required date calculation: day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, single capacity available, day 1 4, day 2 6, day 3 4, and day 4 we have a 10. And straightforward you can see we have a start date 4 and the 6 and then 2 and then we have a different. So system will use this one 4 and then after that the total capacity what we need 12. Okay, I'm utilizing start date forward. System is going forward from the start date. First it is picking 4, then it is picking 6 means 10, then after that we have a day 3 and the capacity available 4 and we only needed 2. That is why system is taking 2 hours from the day 3 that is available for the 4 hours. That is why the complete cycle we have a 4 and 4 6 10 and then after the 2. If we are using end backward and still we needed 10, day 4 we have a 10, day 3 we have a 4, 10 plus 2 we have a 12. That is the working of the state forward and state backward in the resource calculation days. So where the system will get complete hours to complete the production, system will stop automatically there. It will not go for the further day to check the capacity and to take the capacity information. That was the I was representing here as well. For the information system will pick to take, that is for 500 hours we have needed according to the previous example. And resource allocation capacity, stage 3 we have a 1.5, system will calculate and total days you can manage. Why system is representing 2 plus 5? Because the calculation required days 155 and waiting days 1. So 1.5 plus 1 we have a 2.5, because 1 days we have a waiting, means to utilize the painting machine we have to wait for 1 day. So required total days calculation we have a 2.5 days to calculate or to produce a final item. That machine will take the days for the running 2.5 days, because 1 days we have a in waiting and the required days we have a 1.5 day. Production time calculation, the longest time we have for the resource, that is 10 hours, and second machine we have a 5 hours. So this is the production cycle. To cover a complete cycle, that is we call production time calculation, means the maximum resource time in the production order we can say this is the production time. It's important to understand the main difference between the production time and required days value. For example, production time window may represent the actual timing of the machine resource, whereas required days is the total time that resource has to be allocated for the task overall. Then you can utilize the routing recalculation to recalculate the information if you want. And now system is saying issue for production routing scenarios, how we can manage if we have a two different stages. First, we have to add this production order. So let's add that production order. This is the production order number. We can copy and we can add that. Added successfully. Let's check. Now we have to change the status from plan to release. After adding, we have to update the production order. Updated it successfully, and now we can go for the this window issue component. Issue component helps you to release the item to the production floor, that is the raw material are needed to produce a finished good. So now we have released. After click, you can see the issue for the component is not coming. This is the selection criteria is not coming in the window. So you can see issue method, we have a backslash. In the backslash, we have to change it manual, or you can say resource, you can put a backslash because then you need to issue manually. Resource has to be backslash and item has to be manual. Now we can update. And after updating, we can see there is a option are coming issue component. So when you will open, you can see resource, root sequence, root stage and type, and same window are coming from the like PDF. Why system is not representing the root stage drop down? Because I have defined in this system only one root stage. That is why there is no root stage drop down are coming. So we can create another root stage and we can another item. When you have a multiple root stage in the bill of material, then after that drop down system will show you in the issue from production window. And based on that, you can issue the material. Means at the time of cutting, you can issue the only cutting resource, only cutting raw material. After cutting, we can go for the sanding, and in sanding, what is the resource, what is the raw material we are utilizing, we can issue. So stage wise, you can issue the material, or a complete raw material you can also issue in this system. Then after that, we have a summary and we have a completed. Now next topic, we have production order and MRP and introduction to MRP, how we can utilize the material requirement planning based on the production. First, we need to understand what is the MRP and how we can utilize. There is another module in this system for the MRP, material requirement planning. So we can go for the complete. You can see this is the issue. When you have multiple root stage, then stage drop down will come, or you can issue the material with a cumulative value. Now another module, that is we have a MRP, and in MRP we have a forecasting, MRP wizard and recommendation. So need to understand how we can utilize the MRP and what is the concept. So MRP is a material requirement planning based on the demand. Demand means any kind of demand like production, any kind of sales. These are the demand that we need to fulfill. So when we have a demand and we don't have a material in-house to fulfill that demand, so how much quantity do we need for the production, for the sale that we are selling, or for the production that we are manufacturing finished good? So for that finished good, how much quantity of raw material, that the component we are using in the bill of material, that we need, and in the sales if we are selling any finished good, how much finished good we need to produce. So based on that part, if we have a demand and we want to check about the raw material status, about the finished good that we need to manufacture or we need to purchase. So we can utilize material requirement planning for the forecasting. So we can procure our material in advance for the production, for the finished good to procure or produce. Okay, so that is the material requirement planning helps to us for the planning, for the better understanding. Okay, now case example is saying OEC computer sells office equipment and supplies, right? OEC computer sells office equipment and also supplies. Some of the items they sell are assembled and manufactured at OEC Computer's lab. So they are manufacturing as well. So the procurement manager would like to able to plan ahead of sales demand and the item availability in their house, in warehouse as well. So how he can manage? So this is the concept representing via graph chart. This is the MRP wizard and how it will help. MRP include demand, supply, stock on hand. So this is the formula system will use: stock on hand plus supply minus demand. So on that basis, system will guide you that this is the document you have to need. You can buy, you can produce, you can do an inventory transfer. Maybe that item is available in second warehouse, and warehouse 1 and warehouse 2 you have, and the item is lying in warehouse 2 and you are doing transaction from warehouse 1. So system will give you a recommendation that you can do an inventory transfer because item is available in warehouse number 2. If the item is not available and you have said that you are producing or making this item or buying this item, on that basis system will give you this information: buy and produce based on the item in planning method for the MRP wizard. So we have a demand, that is sales order, the supply, that is you need, and the stock on hand, that is in stock availability you have in your warehouse. So these are the three concepts you have to understand. Demand means the sales order, or you can say the production. Supply, that is need to fulfill, you don't have a stock and that is need to purchase. And stock on hand, this is the actual value you have quantity in your warehouse. And now categorizing the information, right? The demand representing and the stock on hand and supply representing. What is the demand means sales order, sales blanket agreement, reserve invoices, and then after that sales quotation, recurring order transaction, forecast, and any kind of production order. So these are the document if you have in your system that will include in the demand part, right? So sales order, production order, any kind of quotation, any kind of sales blanket agreement will hit in the demand. And then in stock, that represent your actual current stock of the item. And if we are talking about the supply, in supply we have a purchase order, purchase request, purchase quotation, purchase blanket agreement, production order, and inventory transfer. So these are the document will affect for this supply. Okay, I'm telling you that based on the item definition buy or make. On that basis, system will give you a recommendation. If you have selected buy, system will give you a recommendation purchase order or purchase request. If you have selected make, system will give you a recommendation for the production order if there is no availability for that item while running the MRP wizard based on the demand in the system. So this is the complete explanation. System is saying 20 pieces stock I have in hand. We have a one sales order that is 40 pieces, and we have a plan for the PO that is 30 pieces, and the sales forecast we are running for the 50 pieces, and again we have created another sales forecast for the 30 pieces. So how MRP will help us to guide from this situation? I'm repeating, 20 pieces only in stock I have. The demand what we have, 40 pieces. This is the demand representing by the system, and sales forecast 50 pieces, and again forecast we have a 30 pieces. After running the MRP wizard, what is the recommendation system will tell? The dotted line with the red line, this is the recommendation you will get if this case is happening in this system. In stock 20 pieces I have. Against the sales order of the 40 pieces, system will tell that you have to create a purchase order for the 20 pieces. Why it is representing the purchase order to for the purchasing? Because 20 pieces already I have. Only 20 pieces I need to fulfill this demand in this system. So system is representing again the sales order. We have to procure the material that is 20 pieces to fulfill this one. And now I have created already 30 pieces for the purchase order. Means in future we can receive the 30 pieces. Means in future we have a 30 pieces as well. But when the supplier will deliver the material, then it will come. So based on the 50 pieces of the sales forecast, we have a 30 pieces, means we will receive this 30 pieces. So we have a 30 pieces in future in stock. We have to just create a 20 pieces for that. Means 20 and 30 will nullify this demand in this system, right? That is, we have a 50 pieces. And there is no purchase order or there is no stock, because system will nullify the stock to fulfill this demand based on the 20 pieces and 30 pieces of the purchase order. And now the last one, we have a sales forecast that is 30 pieces. So system is representing that you have to create again a purchase order that is with the 30 pieces. So I hope you are getting my point, how system is representing the demand based on the stock and based on the supply, based on the purchase order what we have. So we have 20 pieces already. To fulfill this demand, we need 20 pieces more, that system representing that you can create a purchase order. This purchase order will have in future, and we have a demand for the 50 pieces. So we need to just create a 20 pieces for the purchase order, and based on that there is no stock. That is why system representing to create a direct PO for the 30 pieces. That is the system is representing. Now we have a MRP process overview. First, define a data, run MRP, get a recommendation view, and on that basis you can take an action for the making, for the inventory transfer, for the purchasing. So how system represent that? Now system will show you the production order, and system will tell you the purchasing document. So when you will go at the item master data in the inventory, let's open this item, this one. In the planning data, you can see we have to set the MRP. If we want to run the MRP or if we want to include this item as MRP, then you have to select, this is the mandatory setting you have to perform. So you have to go for the item and set the planning method MRP from none to MRP and procurement method buy or make. When you will choose this difference, system will give you the recommendation for the purchasing because we have selected buy for this item. If you are selecting make, then system will give a recommendation for the production order. So on that basis, you have to select the bill of material as well, or you can select a make that part. On that basis, on that case scenario, system will give a recommendation for the production order or for the purchasing document. That is why system is representing here planning method MRP, procurement method make or buy, order interval you can utilize, order multiple in which term, and minimum order quantity. When you are purchasing, lead time or tolerance days you can manage for receiving that item. And this is the bill of material: printer, printer head, memory board and power pack. So this is the raw material to produce a printer. So this is the concept the system is representing. And on that basis, you can define a planning forecast. Now we are talking about the forecast. If we are not utilizing the base document, that is production, that is sales order, and still we want a forecasting, so we can define a forecasting in the system for the future prospect to manage the inventory in this system, right? So what is the stock I have, and based on that how we can manage. So you have to just remember that when we are running the forecasting or MRP wizard based on the selection criteria of the view, daily, weekly, monthly. If we are utilizing daily, today's date we have a 6, so system will take the data from the 7th of April. If we are taking the weekly, after this week, means after completing the week, when the date, when the week is ending in the system, like this is the end of the week, right? 11th of April, system will pick the data from the 12th of April if we are selecting the week. So system will go for the next week because we are using the weekly and forecasting for the future point of view. So that is the future for the next week. So system will take 12th of April. If we are selecting the month, then system will take another month to start the, means system will pick May for the recommendation for the 1st of May, right? So based on the date, system will take the future date. If we are using the monthly, so system will go for the based on the month, and if we are using the weekly, system will go for the weekly, and if you are using daily, so system will go for the from the 7th of April. So based on that, you can define a recommendation and you can go for the forecasting. So system that is representing of the 11th week, I just need pieces. At the 12th week, I need this pieces, and 13th of we need this pieces, and at the 14th week we need this pieces. So based on the weeks, you can define the pieces and you can run the forecasting. And you can adjust a percentage wise quantity, or you can manage the manually as well. And this based on the setting, you can manage the MRP run. And what is the step for the MRP wizard? Total we have a 5 step. First, creating a case scenario. Create a new MRP case scenario for choosing one or item. Case scenario detail, planning, horizon definition and other definition and affecting lead time. Third one, item selection, a range or specific time. Fourth, run by company or warehouse. Document data source, source of demand and supply and recommendation preferences. So these are the 5th steps. The 6th one, we have a recommendation where you will get a result, that what is the action you need to take based on the MRP that you have run in the system. Okay, let's open the bill of material and take one item. Now we have to select the MRP and we have to update this item. There is no stock for this item. I have entered a production order as well for this item that we are using in the production order. Okay, let's check the MRP information if we are using. The warehouse is, we have a FGO. Now first we have MRP and then we have a Mrp Wizard. And we have to first define the current production order. And I think system will don't take for the current entry. So let's open the Mrp Wizard and just take the information. Now you can see I have created multiple case scenario. You can create a new one and you can give a name after creating, like testing, test, and then after that you can create a test. And then you can see we have a next one and the start date, end date for that based on the days, weekly and month. You can enter the date from the today and today because we are utilizing days, and we can go for the next. And then we have a item selection information. You can create a select item and then you can add an item. All the items are coming, that is we have a set as a MRP. So you can select an one item, and after selecting the item, now we have a selected item. That is the stage of representing in the system to selecting the item, that is stage number 3. And then we can go for the next, that is the run by, where system is representing you want to run this cycle based on the company level or warehouse level for that item. And there is a different consolidated existing inventory, demand and supply into default warehouse only. And the difference between the warehouse include existing inventory, demand and supply separate for each warehouse, right? This is the default warehouse only and this is the separately for each warehouse. So based on the need you can manage. The next, then we have a purchase order blanket agreement that you will get in the recommendation. So I am entering like purchase order and only blanket agreement because I can procure a raw material or I can produce a finished good. So based on that, I'm utilizing only 2 options as a recommendation. Then after that, we have a run. That is system is saying document data source. You can utilize demand of supply and recommendation preferences. And then after that, we can run that part. When you have a availability, based on that, system will give you a final result, that is a recommendation. what is the stock you have, what is the demand you have, what is the production order you need to create. So you can see there is no information are coming in the system because we don't have any kind of approval or sorry, any kind of demand or any kind of supply. Let's check the definition I have already added in the system and take one example for the recommendation. These are the MRP I have run. This is the description, this is the start date, this is the end date. That was the method how we can create a, let's pop up the case scenario, then after that we will check the information. That is the representing one by one, where we can select the information. Then after that, the item selection, you can select manually all, and based on the warehouses, for which warehouse you want to check the stock value or want to see the material information. And then after that, data source, input and output. And then after getting a recommendation, system will represent this flow chart. Item number, description, past due date. Then after that, the days are coming. If you are using the days will come. If you are selecting week, the week will come. If you are selecting the month, then month will come. This is the item information, the initial inventory, the supply you need, the demand you have, the final inventory, what you will get after the complete cycle. So initial inventory for an item beginning of the MRP period. Expected positive inventory receipt means the supply, like purchase order, right? Expected positive inventory you can receive. And then demand, expected inventory release from the stock means the sales order that you have entered, means that in future you will release that demand. And the final inventory, initial inventory plus supply minus demand, that is the final inventory you will have in the system after complete the cycle. Now you can see the representer are coming representation for all the item. Let's make bigger this screen and understand the possibility. So this is the item. First one, initial inventory, supply, demand, and final inventory. Let's check the information. System is saying that there is no initial inventory, that is representing in minus. This is the supply, means to fulfill this inventory we need to purchase order. When you double click on this icon, means where the red value are coming, double click on it, system is saying that you need to create a purchase request. First you need an inventory in this stock, then after that you can go for the demand to fulfill that, right? So we have a demand for the 4031. So you need a supply, that is why system is representing the purchase request you need to create from this period to this period. And the minus final inventory is getting minus because we don't have any in stock, and it is working on the formula, that is the final inventory. Initial inventory we have a 0, the supply we have a 4000, and the demand we have a that one. So that is why system is representing the information as a final inventory in the term of the minus, because there is no initial inventory, there is no supply, but we have a demand for that day. Okay, that is why system is representing in this term data. So let's you can see past due date. This is the 6th of 4. Maybe we are running this report as a weekly. That is why system is representing. So this is the complete cycle, and based on that date, system will give you the recommend value. What is the stock you have in the system? What is the supply you need, and what is the demand for that day you have? When you will complete the inventory for the 6th of 4, then there is no initial inventory will you have, because stock I have, and you can complete the demand for that day. That is why final inventory is not representing in the system. And now you can see a recommendation purchase request for that item, the quantity, due date, and then that date. That is the recommendation system representing. This is the report are coming when you are going for the recommendation. All the recommendation are coming for which item you need purchase request, for which item you need for the production order. So based on that, system representing for this item you have to create the production order. For this item you need to create a purchase request with the original quantity. So system will take automatically all the information to complete the demand. Okay, then we are moving further. How we can create directly purchase order, inventory transfer, production order from the MRP Wizard, right? So you don't need to enter the purchase order, take this item, enter the quantity, and then take the supplier and price and all the information. How we can create from the MRP Wizard? So you have to select the save recommendation. Just save the recommendation. After saving the recommendation, there is an option that is order recommendation window, where we can order our recommendation that we have needed in the system, right? Finish that part, click on OK, or we can cut and we can go for the order recommendation. We are taking what we were using, the case scenario while running the MRP wizard. Back, next. That what we were using, right? NRS. So we have to take that case scenario to check the recommendation we have saved in this system. Now you can see all the data in the recommendation are coming. That was system representing in the MRP wizard and recommending tab. So we have to create, just click on the create, the quantity, the pieces. We are creating purchase request. You can create an update. At the bottom, you will see posting the deviation because financial year has been over. That is why system is not creating. So when you will select this create and you will have to just update, then system will create a purchase order with the 1000 quantity for this item in this system automatically. You don't need to open the purchase request, take the item and enter the quantity for all that information. System will create all these things automatically. Now we have completed the working of the MRP wizard, the demand what you have and the other things we have, and we have completed as well production with the root stage. Okay, the next topic we have services we will cover tomorrow. Now we can take question about the production with the routing and based on the material requirement planning. So please raise your question. That is the doubt you have. Any query from anyone? If a company is in trading, then what plan they will make? See, in trading company, you can sell and purchase the item. So you can have a demand, that is sales order. Based on that, the sales order, you can procure a material, or you can create a purchase request, or you can go for the directly purchase order. There is a no production order will include in the system because you are a trading company. Okay. So based on the case scenario, the procurement method, what you have in your organization, if you are utilizing a cycle of the purchase request, then go for the purchase order. Then after that to receive the material into inventory. So based on that, you can decide the transaction document, purchase request or purchase order. Only the document for the demand you will have in the system, that is sales order. The next 3 days, what is the demand, the sales order you have. On that basis, you can run the Mrp Wizard to check the final inventory what you have and what is the items you need to purchase against the demand. To fulfill that demand, you have 3 sales order. Maybe you can have a 3 sales order with the 100 quantity, and you can have a 200 quantity in the system. So total we have a 300 demand, and you have a 200 in stock. So 100, that is you need. System will give you guide you the recommendation that 100 pieces quantity of the purchase order you need to create in the system to fulfill the demand for the 300, because 200 you have a in the stock. For the manufacturing company, they can have a purchase order, purchase request, as well they can have a finished good to procure a material. So based on the sales order, you have a production. Based on the production, you can have a raw material, that is you need to purchase to fulfill that production. Any other query? It will take the actual stock what you have, and based on that, it will give you the value information. If you have any already purchase order that will hit in the inventory in future, system will also utilize that part for the final inventory or for the fulfilling the demand. Any kind of supply if you have between the date range, between the demand you have, system will use that quantity as well. Like at the upper part, while explaining the MRP wizard, I've showed you the graph chart, right? For the MRP. That graph chart, you can understand again how system representing and how it will this one. You can see 20 pieces in stock. The demand what we have 40 pieces. This is the PO will hit in inventory in future, right? So for that purpose, to fulfill that demand, we need a 20 pieces only. So you can purchase. System will give you that recommendation for the purchase order. This PO will hit in future. Next demand we have a 40 pieces. 30 pieces we will get, 20 pieces we will need. That is why we have created 20 pieces. That was the average consumption system will take in future for the supply you are receiving in future, and you can utilize. System will automatically pick this value and will minus and give you the actual recommendation for the 20 pieces automatically. Any further query? We can take it now. We have a few minutes left. Yes, you can ask. For that purpose, you have to create the series in the document numbering for the item master for the business partner. To generate auto-generated item code and BP code, you have to go in document numbering and move to the items and for the business partner. You have to create a new one. You cannot change the previous by default system representing. You have to add new. Yes, it will allow you to create. Now you can see we have a master for the business partner, customer for the item. That is the item you can create. Go for that. And you can add this one and the numbering from where you want to start, like 0, 1. You can take it 1 and then last number. Then after that the remarks and the number of digits. So based on that, you can go for that, like FA, and then you can update. We are entering 00. System is representing the number of digits. Let's take 3. Now we have completed this one. I'm using 1 and FA and number 3 and grouping 3 and number 3, that is system will allow. Now we have updated. And when you will open the item master data, system will show you another series. Automatically it will increase by this system. You can see this is the new one. And when you will add, system will take the series FA001 and it will increase one by one for doing the transaction. So there is no further question. Thank you everyone for joining the class. Tomorrow's topic, we have a customer service call and service information. Thank you everyone and good night. Thank you.